Thank you for bringing her home. And sorry for the trouble.
Oh, no.
Daddy, did you know that there are villages 10 times cities, they call them? And in these cities...
Oh, you can tell me all about the outside world later, Sweet Pea. Now... Thanks for putting one of the big ones, being. What are the people beyond?
Are we the only ones she's at?
Now you are. The rest of the world can't know where he... A few of us might make the occasional trip to shore for supplies, but for the most part, we make do with what we've got. Including what the old Northerners left.
Yes. You built on top of the old ruins, didn't you?
Well, they make for fine foundations. Their masons clearly knew. That's one thing we don't have to worry about. Medicines, metals for tool making, anything like that. We have to dress up as travelling merchants and make a trip to the outside and pray to every cloud in the heavens that nobody sees through us. Aye. And now Ruka's back. So please, do make good use of...
Thanks for bringing me door anyway. Now we've got the... I will have to charge you. Here you are. Well, if you're sure you need it. Here you are. May it serve you well. Very well.
What do you think the tributary season is?
Reckon my steel's just as good as any. A good tide to you.
How long do you think this bridge has been?
There's a pair of ships just up ahead.
Ships? But are we not still leagues from the shore?
The quickest route to the surge is due east. Past the second galley.
Shula, how did these ships come to be here?
What do you imagine happens when an icon of water gets angry?
Did you have to ask?
They won't all do this easy. Tongaries. Foul creatures consumed by their hatred for everyone and everything.
Sharp knives, it seems.
I can smell the sea.
It's not far now.
How will we reach the surge?
We'll follow the coastline north. There's a bridge that'll take us across to the cape.
Might I inquire about the Ray of Light?
It's what prevents the surge from being reclaimed by the sea. And Wallius by his people.
You said before that the child is bound within the surge. But you've yet to tell us how we're meant to reach him. I trust we won't have to hold our breath.
No. The surge wraps around the cape without engulfing it. If we continue to its tip, there is a path down to the seabed. And the wave's origin.
All right. It won't be the first dominant we've met at the bottom of the ocean.
It's not much further now.
The path seems well kept. Do you and the villagers often come this way?
Only me. Once every new moon without fail. It is my duty both as village elder and Wallius's descendant.
But surely no one blames you for what happened. Why should you bear the responsibility alone?
You misunderstand. I do it because I want to show him that he isn't alone, and that there are still some of us who would see an end to his suffering. Suffering you will soon witness with your own eyes. forest grows quickly here. Left unattended, the path would be reclaimed in a matter of moons.
Does the light point the way to the child?
It does indeed.
Look at all the droplets of water suspended in midair.
Where they have remained untouched by time for 80 summers.
It's not right.
No, it's not.
There. Up ahead. Down in the center. Follow me.
He's still primed.
I'll never forget my first priming. The fear. And I was old enough to understand what was happening. One can only imagine how this poor child felt.
He is the victim of an unforgivable sin. Committed by people who saw him as nothing but a means to an end. He must be so frightened.
Then I'll ease his burden.
You don't mean?
I'm not going to hurt him. Contrary to the tales, I don't go around killing dominants for no reason. What if I told you there was a way to remove Wallis's icon?
I'd tell you you were a madman.
It's hard to believe, I know. But it can be done. Though, it isn't without its risks. Part of the icon remains no matter what.
So, it might still come to violence.
I don't know. It depends on the dominant. I've seen things end well, and I've seen things spiral out of control. But I do know one thing. If we turn our backs on this child, there will be no end to his suffering. And I think that a worse fate than the alternative. Don't you?
Very well. Do what you must. And whatever happens, I will own the consequences.
Don't be afraid, little one. Let me bear the weight. Hush now. It's going to be all right.
Is it done?
I think so. I can feel the icon inside me. But something's wrong. He wasn't just afraid. He was angry. All right. Let's see what you've given me.
Leviathan!
No, just an eggy. But a formidable adversary nonetheless.
Friends. It's over. Is everyone all right?
He seems calmer now.
You said Walius was frozen in time. But he knew we were here. How?
I don't know. He's never reacted to anything or anyone. Until now.
The child has been bound for nigh on a century. If he has been conscious from the first, we must remove the seal at once.
It's not that simple. I wish it were, but... there's more to this tale. It would be better if I explained back at the village.
I see. Then let's return before it gets dark.
I'm sorry, Walius. I will make this right. So, part of Leviathan is inside you now, is it? Does it hurt?
No. Not anymore, anyway.
Good, because I still have need of your strength. If you want to know the rest, we should head to the Witten Hall.
Of course.
Look there! The trees rock.
Bastard things.
Reckon my steel's just as good as any. There. Reckon my steel's just as good as any. A good tide to you.
No sign of the child.
To understand the spell which binds Walyas, you must first know who we are, and what drove my forebears to commit such an atrocity.
This tapestry
Is our story, the one that brought us here. After generations of wandering, my people sought refuge in northeastern Storm, some 170 years ago. But in exchange for our safety, the Gregorian Church demanded we renounce our faith, and branded us heretics when we could not.
To be exterminated, as a lesson to others.
And so was it chronicled in the imperial histories, for anything less would have made the Church seem weak. Yet a handful survived. The few who did fled north and west, and in doing so discovered two things that would forever shape our fates. The first was an old legend, revealing how to make your very own Mother Crystal.
I've heard that one before.
Yes, yet it gave them new hope, however false. Our ancestors convinced themselves that they could recreate the divine if they could only find a strong enough heart. A living being capable of channeling torrents of ether. And the heavens provided.
A dominant. Well, yes.
They'd stumbled across a nostrum in an ancient ruin, which they believed could provoke a sudden outpouring of a creature's ether. They meant to enrage his icon. Leviathan would have destroyed everything, had our people not made their second important discovery. A means to stop time itself.
Where did they find that? The Northerners had no such magics, or they would have used them.
When our ancestors first arrived, the land was uninhabited, save for an old witch who lived on the highest peak. Her body had been consumed by the curse, a cruel payment for her long years of service to the Northern Thanes. So desperate were they to prevent the fall of Drake's Eye, they'd forced her to devise a spell to stop time.
But Drake's Eye did fall.
It did. When she finally perfected the necessary magics, it was already too late. As punishment for her failure, the Thanes exiled her to this forsaken place to live out the few days she had left. Knowing her suffering, our ancestors cared for her as best they could, and in return, she gifted them her spell. That even though she should die, her legacy might live on. So armed with both the knowledge of the ancients and the secrets of time, our ancestors settled upon an ambitious plan. They would create a new Mother Crystal and enchant it that it might endure for all eternity. Thus would our people's wandering, our suffering, finally end, and prosperity visit us once more. And all it would require was the sacrifice of a single child. A small price to pay, or so they believed.
Another victim of man's blind reliance on the Mother Crystals. So we know the seal's source. How do we break it and restore the flow of time?
Do you recall the dome of light on top of the cliffs to the west? Inside lie the ruins of an old temple. It was there that the witch built the Vare, a conduit of sorts that channels her remaining ether into the Surge. But it's been a long time since anyone set foot in the place. And now, there are others who claim it as their own.
Then we shall go prepared for a fight. That said, it may be best if one of us stays behind.
You think the village could be in danger?
We saw the ether flow from Wallius in all directions, but only encountered a single familiar. There will be more. And should even one make its way here, I doubt the walls could hold it back for long.
Then I shall stay. The Phoenix will see your people safe, tributary.
You have my thanks.
Very well. We should depart at once. I fear time may no longer be a luxury we can afford.
The Vare is not easy to find. We must first head north, and then west, deeper into the forest.
No sign of the child.
You don't think Just...
Is everything?
you're the outside. And this is Talor.
Nothing too serious.
I hope so too.
But
This affliction, it's like nothing I've ever... My most powerful antalgic. I'm starting to wonder if it's... Shula said that you were here to help us.
I'd be happy to. If I can.
You can. All I need you to do is speak to Talor's son, Pavat, over at the forge, and ask if he knows what his father was up to before he came. Something must have caught. The trouble is, Talor's too weak to speak, so while you talk to Pavat, I'll pay his wife word or a quick visit.
All right.
Leave me be.
Bastard things.
Oh, I never should have let him go alone. You! Shula said... Hey? I'm worried about it. Would you help me?
I can try.
Of course, you know about...
Shula told.
Right, if it weren't for...
So your friend.
Aye, he said there are two.
All right.
His name, if you could...
Very well. One came by the ships, another by the river. Better get moving.
Hail, stranger. Are you a rider by any chance?
I am.
Oh, I can smell it on you. The scent, and not just any stables. Something I had to guess, I'd say your bird eats only the ambrosia.
Well, she's...
You're joking.
I have...
This I've got to see.
I would if I could, but I doubt Shula's skin.
Me dad's got a boat. And he's it'd be perfect timing and all. He's preparing for a trip beyond the wall as we speak.
He would. Well, all right then. Where could I...
He'll be in the storehouse on the other side of the brook.
You one of the out?
I am. Shula.
I am.
She's asked to see my chocobo, but I need your help and your boat.
Or you could just say no. Honestly, that girl...
Well, truth be told, I didn't take the idea seriously at first. But thinking about it, it would make it...
If you're sure that's what you want. The tributary, still. They don't take the water. I'll need you to bring us a mimic gourd or two to keep her calm.
And,
Oh, don't ask me. It's been years since I last brought a chocobo across the bay.
well, the man who made Ambrosia's tack lived in Martha's Rest, and so I suppose I'll go and up.
I'll be sailing over to Northreach soon to pick up some supply.
Oh,
I do, though not from the forge.
I see.
It's no trouble, really.
Not that I know of. But then I hardly see him. Suppose he might have been a bit more...
When you say out and about...
Just round the village. Wanders over to Blazier's place most days. He's a fisher who lives on the other side of the fount. Maybe he knows some...
Maybe.
O ceaseless rill, guide thy bounty. Greetings, stranger.
Your name is Blazier, is it not? Pavad tells me you're a friend of his father's, and that the two of you may have spent some time together prior to his illness.
His illness? Talor's never been ill a day in his life. I don't know why he'd start now.
Oh, Fanny doesn't know either. It was she who asked me to look into his recent behavior on the off chance it might
So did you see anything strange on your way back from the shore? Are you certain? Do you swear? That kind of thing. I didn't, of course. But he wouldn't let it go. It was like he was expecting something to happen. It was just a matter of when.
Well, that certainly, and it might just be what Fanny...
Ah, don't mention it.
Let's see what the healer makes of this.
I spoke with word.
Nothing conclusive. Blazier, the fisherman, told me that Talor had... He kept asking him if he'd seen anything unusual there on his way back from the coast.
The forest. Surely.
But...
I can't say for sure. You may have encountered them during your time.
And you think they may have caused...
I do. At least in a way. Oh, I know it's a lot to ask, but would you... There's an altar there. And if my fears are true, please, I'll explain everything when you return, but time flow.
Very well.
Bastard things.
We've got a few rooms going spare now. You want a bed for the night? You speak to Martha.
I remember you.
She's very well.
Oh, don't thank me. Anyway.
I was hoping, and I thought you might be able...
Oh, reckon I could do better than that.
Just really?
Aye, you'd be doing me a favour, but just be on the lookout for wild birds, eh?
I will.
Oh, you're very well. And in times like...
We send... to Northreach, then. Wouldn't want to keep Anders' father waiting.
And how might I help the garrison today?
No use calling Ambrosia now. Good girl.
Ah, there you are. And this must be...
I have the mimic or two.
Thank you kindly. Soon as she's gobbled this up, we'll set sail.
We're going to take a little trip across the bay now, Ambrosia. Well, we made it.
She is...
Brave, too. She was cut. Calm as you like on the journey over. The mimic gourd will have played its part, of course, but passing through the walls enough to spook most birds even then. Not this one, though.
Ambrosia's been through a lot. I doubt there's much that could unnerve her now.
Not with a beloved master by her side.
No. It's you who looks after me, isn't it, girl?
Anyway, thanks for bringing her here.
And if you and Ambrosia need ferrying back to Northreach...
Thank you. But I think we might explore Mysidia together.